Hmm? Can you recall?
Yes, sir. We have seen that surface energy.
Yeah. I told you, the surface energy is comparatively very low. So something wrong with the concept. Because Griffith is saying that when the crack will further extend means there should be enough accumulation of the energy which can make two new fresh surfaces, then the crack will extend further. But once you see the accumulated energy and conversion energy, then the surface energy seems to be very low. So that statement could not actually really took part in a very sensible sense. So something got slowly, because they told no the some World War for the time. So all the Griffith theory got slightly you know um, you know mis it's not misquoted. It's something like people did not notice or not given much attention to his theory somewhat. That is what we stopped. Then we have introduced something like what you call that energy. Okay, for different systems, how the formula for energy, all those things already we have seen. The relation between stress to strain, all these things we have seen. Now we will enter into energy release rate. Okay, energy release rate. I told you, no, the the topic fracture mechanics is one of the topic is energy release rate. Okay, energy release rate. Something. One second. One second. The major topic what we are going to see is energy release rate. Okay, there are four ways actually we have actually studied to get the energy. One is energy through, isn't it? No, and another one is stress based approach. Then another one is J integral. Then CTOD. Okay, contact tip displacement. Okay, opening displacement. Now only we are entering into the first method of finding the fracture techniques or fracture energy or something like that. Okay, now we are into this particular thing. So what is this energy release rate? So energy method is called energy release rate. This is the parameter. Okay, this is the parameter defined by energy approach to characterize the crack tip. So here the parameter is energy. Okay, energy. So here actually our study is crack tip. This is the crack tip. Okay, I told you, this is the, okay, suppose you apply load like this. So this is what crack. So crack is basically a line, but for the visibility purpose, I just drawn like this. So this is the crack. So this is the crack tip. Energy approach has the advantage that one does not have to account for the large stresses that are developed in the vicinity of the crack. Because hence you apply a load like this in this system. This is mode 1 type. Okay, mode 1 type. Lot of energy accumulation will be there here. Okay, that particular thing will cause a lot of problem, because to account that, so much of problems will be there. So here the energy means you need not bother about the stresses accumulated in that crack tip. Energy method avoids analysis close to crack tip. Here we don't bother about the energy, the stress accumulation at the crack tip, so we can avoid the crack tip. Because when you talk about the stress, when you talk about stress, suppose you see the variation of stress with respect to location. So in this location, it goes to infinity. Whereas you come away, this is the stress average. Okay, suppose I have something what body is there, body is subjected with stresses. Suppose I have a small crack. Okay, I have a small crack. So that crack is something like this. Okay, enlarge it. So here you can have lot of stress concentration. Lot of stress concentration. So if you plot the variation from here to here, okay, that's what this variation looks like. Okay, variation, it goes like this. This is sigma. This is a location. Here it is goes very close to crack tip, it goes to infinity. So infinity means something furious things. Okay, some kind of singularity will come. So such problems are not there in the energy approach. Such problems are not there in the energy approach. Energy approach can only be used for conservative systems where there is no energy dissipation. In the whole process, no, you have a crack. Once the crack apply the load, the energy will be there. So the energy, so further crack enhances means the energy will consume into another form. So a pure conversion from one form to another form. There is no dissipation of the energy in terms of heat or friction or something like that. So that is how an assumption, or in this particular method they have treating. They are treating like this. No energy dissipation. When such things are called, we can say it's a conservative system. Conservative system. That's called. So the energy release rate, basically when it started by Griffith, it is mainly for the brittle material. Energy release rate mainly for the brittle materials. So I have a body. Body is having a crack. Okay, the body is subjected with the forces. Body is subjected to the forces. The sigma which I am applying, it is something like this is sigma. So it's increasing something like that. Okay, I'm increasing. So what will happen? Okay, if I apply force, or okay, force, it is not sigma, it can be a sinusoidal also. Sigma can be a sinusoidal also. So because of that, what will happen? The crack will further increase. Okay, so in this process, what will happen? In this process, what will happen to the structure? What will happen to the structure? Because crack is increasing. What is the speed? Very slow. Yeah, crack is increasing very slow. But when the crack advances, what will happen to the structure? What will happen to the structure? That is the thing. So because crack will come here, crack will come here, crack will come here. What is happening from crack is advancing? What will happen to the structure? Stiffness of the structure or the component will decrease, isn't it? Now, once the crack is there, suppose I have a structure without any crack. I have a structure with a crack. Okay, definitely I will have stiffness will be reduced. Okay, stiffness will be reduced. Further, if I increase my crack, what will happen? Stiffness again and again it will reduce. This is okay, stiffness reduction. Then what will happen? Strain energy in the component decreases or increases. This is very important. What is called that? Observation. Important observation. Normally, what we will think, strain energy either it should increase, okay, or it should decrease. What is here happening? Strain energy increasing, decreasing, increasing, decreasing. Okay, strain energy increasing, decreasing. That we will see how, why it is happening. All things we will see. The reason for this particular phenomena we will see. Strain energy. You know strain energy, isn't it? No, stress into strain. What is strain energy? U off into stress into strain. So in this system, when the crack is advancing, okay, what we can think, either strain energy can increase or strain energy can decrease. But here what will happen? It will increase and decrease. Okay, that way it will happen. The points of the component at which the external loads are applied may or may not move, because here we are applying load, no, these points. Okay, it may have some displacement or it may not have some displacement. So work is being done on the component by these forces. If the points move, then only, okay, then the points moves only, work will be done. If the body doesn't have any deformation, then where is the energy will come? No energy will come. So obviously the load application point also it will move further, it will move, then only you will get the displacement, subsequently you will get the strain and these stresses, then you can get the energy. So how the energy will dissipate? Energy being consumed to create two new surfaces, because energy, as per the law, the law of physics, energy cannot actually die. Okay, energy cannot be die. It will form into another energy, or okay, something will happen. Okay, it's a conservative. No, energy cannot die. So the energy will convert into some other form. That's all. So here the form is two new surfaces it will create. So to understand, okay, the behavior of the strain energy, why it is increasing, why it is decreasing. For that we have to see the cases. This case. Now we can see a case, strain energy as a function of load and displacement. Okay, there are two cases we are going to see. There are two cases we are going to see. One is constant load approach. Another one is constant displacement. One is constant load, another one is constant displacement. Okay, in both the cases, we will find the, okay, when the crack advances, for these two cases, what will happen to the strain energy, or we are going to estimate the strain energy. We are going to estimate the strain energy. I'm just taking water. So let us see first case, constant load, constant load, constant load. Here, so this is the specimen. This is the specimen. This is the experimental setup. Okay. This is the experimental setup. This is basically mode 1, because crocodile mouth opening kind of load. Okay. So the load you can see here, you are applying load like this, no? This is M1. Same thing has been applied here, but once you constrain here, whatever load you are applying, there will be an opposite load will apply here, reaction forces. Okay, so here it has been pointed here, connected here, a pulley is here. Once you apply load here, automatically you will get the, okay, pull here. Automatically that load is transformed here. So equivalent load you will get here. So it is okay, as good as the model here. Okay, so this is the specimen, all these things. So the direction is V is the direction, because this is X, this is Y. So X displacement, once you say U, Y displacement we can call V. That is what V displacement is like this. V displacement is like this. Okay, I'm removing whatever I wrote, otherwise it will confuse you. Okay, so this is the experiment setup. This is the experiment setup. There are two experiments I will do. There are two experiments. Similar material, everything same. Okay, experiment 1, experiment 2. In experiment 1, I can use crack length as A. Experiment 2, I can use crack length A plus delta A. That's the only difference. Okay, that's the only difference. That is the only difference. Two specimen. Okay, so two testing procedure. Okay, this is one. So this is A. Another same thing. This is A plus delta A. Otherwise, same test only. Okay, 1, 2. Okay, I hope you understood. I hope you understood. Two specimen, same material, same boundary condition, same load. That's called constant load. But okay, first specimen crack length is A. Second specimen crack length is A plus delta A. That's the only difference. Okay, one is A, one is A plus delta A. Crack length, this length. So if you see here the bottom graph or curve, okay, here you can see, okay, here it is displayed here actually plot, okay, displacement versus load, displacement versus load. So load I'm applying here, displacement I'm observing here. Okay, for two cases, for two cases. So the curve, this thing for test 1, this is for test 2. You can see here crack length A, crack length A plus dA or delta A. Both are same. Okay, parallelly I'm conducting two tests. I am plotting load versus displacement. Load is P, displacement is V, V1, V2. On the same graph. The brown color one, first one is A. So what will happen once I apply the load P, the V will increase. That is what in the first case, okay, once I apply the load, okay, my load increment, okay, my displacement also increases. That is how my graph curve is going like this. This is what for the crack length A. Crack length A. On the other hand, I have another specimen with the same material, same experiment setup, same load, because that's a constant load, both the cases. But here the only difference is A plus delta A crack length. So crack length is initially it is more, A plus delta A. If I plot that one, the same load, same fashion if I do, but the curve is coming here. The reason you know. The reason you know. Can you tell me the reason why it is coming down? Why A plus delta A curve is coming here? Why not it is going here? Tell me the reason, please, students.
Stiffness reduces, sir.
Why stiffness reduces?
As the crack propagates, we saw that the stiffness of the material reduces.
Yes. So here the crack length is more, means obviously it will have less stiffness. So definitely it will have more displacement. Definitely it will have more displacement, isn't it? No, because a particular load, if you take both the cases, a particular load, if you take both the cases, isn't it? No, you will get less displacement in crack length A, more displacement in crack length A plus delta A. Are you agreeing that?
Yes,
Yes, sir.
All of you agreeing?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
it is very simple nature. Okay, one can easily understand. So that is the graph looks like. Okay, that is the graph, this one. Now, what we can get out of this one? What is our main aim? Our main aim of this particular study is how much energy is consumed, how much energy is created or consumed, okay, when a crack length A is becoming A plus delta A. A crack is here, a crack is moved from A plus delta A, how much energy? How much energy, okay, it is consumed or it is created. That is what, or consumed, because energy, you know, whatever energy is creating, when the crack is advancing, it will consume. So that much energy is there to create that particular delta A. Is this statement is understood? What is our estimation to find the energy, okay, to find the created energy or consumed energy which causes a crack length A to delta A. Understood? The energy
Yes, sir.
required to form the crack delta A. Can you understood? All of you understood?
Yes,
Yes.
sir.
This is very important observation. Okay, we are estimating the energy. We are estimating the energy. It is very difficult to have some other mechanism or some other testing procedures to estimate the energy. This is the easiest, simplest way to find the energy. How we are finding? How we are finding? Because I have done a test on A. I have done test on A plus delta A. So the difference in this particular energy is the energy which causes delta A. Is it fine? Are you agreeing?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Got it, no? It's a
Got it,
simple
sir.
way. How much energy needed to make the delta A means I can do two similar tests with A and A plus delta A. The difference of this, because this is energy plot. What is this? P and delta is what? My energy. You know that potential energy, no? Half into P into delta. This is what? Potential energy. Agreeing with me or not? Area under the graph is
Yes,
what,
sir.
ma? Energy,
It's
potential
energy.
energy.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Potential energy. So, potential energy is equal to strain energy. That you know? It should be. Okay.
Sir, for this condition, sir,
Hmm.
for this structure.
Hmm.
Yes, sir.
Yes, ma'am. Always, okay, in the linear regime, okay, potential energy is equal to strain energy. No other way. Okay.
Okay, sir. Okay,
Both
sir.
are interrelated, ma. Okay. You can't
Yes, sir.
expect something else because here pure conservative system. Okay, there is no other energy dissipation. Hmm?
Yes, sir.
No dissipation. That is what potential is equal to straight away strain energy. Ultimately, we are going to find the strain energy, but through potential energy. Okay, so what is this system finally says means we are estimating the okay, the incremental strain energy to required to make the crack from A to delta A or delta A displacement, how much delta A crack length, how much energy I need. Ultimately, that we can easily by how. Okay, so you can see. Okay, so this is the graph for 1, graph for 2. Let us take a case for a P1. Let us look the difference of the energy. Let us look the difference. That is the energy which required to make a crack delta A. So first case, what is the strain energy? Delta U half into P1 into dV. This is the first case. Okay, V1, P1. So energy of this. Energy under here. Half into P1 into V1. This is delta U. I am calculating for this. Okay, what is that? Half into P1 into V1. Then what is the energy consumed in the system 2? Okay, what is that? Half into, again, area under this curve. Area under this curve. Half into P1 into V2. Half into P1 into V2. So what is the difference in energy? This minus this. Isn't it no? Half into P1 into V2 minus half into P1 into V1. Okay, the difference energy is the delta A creator. So you can take off P1 outside, V2 minus V1. V2 minus V1 is nothing but dV. What is that? It is a dV. V2 minus V1 is dV. So half into P1 into dV is the delta U. Half into P1 into dV is the delta U. Understood?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Sir, I have one small question, sir.
Hmm.
Sir, in this diagram, we
Hmm.
have placed a support in the bottom
Hmm.
and the force is applied on the top one by the usage of pulleys, sir.
Hmm.
So, I mean, it is similar. Instead of that, if we put the support in the top and directly we can connect the force down, no, sir, the load down.
Hmm.
That will be also similar, or is this the method, sir?
How can you give support in the top? In this space, can you give?
No, sir. I mean, we can create something like that, no, sir.
Yeah, you can. So basically, this is schematic, Nama.
Yes, sir.
You are very good observation. Okay.
Yes, sir. No, sir. I asked because
I'm
both will
just
be kind of similar only, no, sir.
yeah. I'm just joking because
Yes.
suppose if I have something here, okay, some kind of setup here, practically it is feasible. Instead of if I have a support here, no, then I need something here. Some complexity may come, no,
Yes, sir.
giving support at the top. What means in the ground itself we can give, no, ma?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Likewise.
Sir,
These are
but
all
for
something.
this,
Huh?
but for this, we have to use these pulleys. We have to place them somewhere in the top. Those
That is
things, no, sir.
feasible, no, ma? That I can have some kind of experimental setup, some crane or something I can give something.
Yes,
Keeping
sir.
fully and all, I can have some other arrangements, structural arrangements. Instead of giving a support, pulley arrangements and all, it is a regular system, no?
Yes, sir.
But I'm just joking, okay? Don't take it as
Okay,
serious.
sir. Okay, sir. No problem, sir.
Why support is coming down means something reason is ground.
Yes, sir.
Always support means ground. Okay, likewise only people used to think for that reason. Okay.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
So now we got what is this constant load means, because I am taking, okay, at a constant load only, okay, at a constant load only, we are finding the energy. We are finding the energy. So, okay, this initially how much, where is the energy I got? This one, isn't it? Now, initial energy is this. Second case, how much? This. So this minus this, I can get this is the energy. This is the energy which causes, okay, delta A. This is constant, means at one instant load. That's called, it's a constant load. This is the strain energy. Incremental delta U means incremental strain energy from A to delta A, U to delta U, incremental net quantity for this particular crack. Okay, that's what it's called, delta U. What is external work done? P1 into dV. P1 into dV, external work. That means external work means it is something like force into displacement. Force into displacement. External work done means force into displacement. So this is, okay, this is strain energy. This is potential energy. This is potential energy. External work. P1 into dV. Okay, you guys know very well. Okay, so why this half is not accounted means it is something like, you know, it all depends what fashion you are applying load. Okay, suddenly applying load or you are gradually applying load. It is then only that you 1/2 will take part in the external energy. Okay, so this is the strain energy calculated through constant load. Okay, this is the strain energy. Next item, strain energy through constant displacement. Constant displacement. Same two specimens. Same two specimens. Okay, we have two specimens. Same way what we discussed in the previous slide. Okay. Okay, two specimen. Okay, this is crack length A. This is crack length A plus delta A. Okay, here also we are applying same system of load, but here what is that? Constant displacement. Constant displacement. That means, okay, there we have seen no constant load. Here I am seeking constant displacement. Okay, constant displacement. Okay, because constant load, the line is crossing to this one. Okay, the line is crossing to that means for one load I'm getting two displacement. One load I'm getting two displacement. Similarly, here a constant displacement, but one displacement, two loads we are getting at the same concentric point. Okay, two things. Okay, same graph only, same system only. Earlier we took constant displacement, the constant load. That means, okay, we have considered one single load, how much energy we consider. Okay, now constant displacement. Constant displacement means what? We are not actually in the sense earlier say at P1 what is the displacement? V1, V2. Here at V1 what is P1, what is P2? One is constant load, or another ways at a particular instant of displacement I have two loads. In earlier case, at a particular load I have two displacement. In this case, at a particular displacement, two loads. How? Okay, because either thing can happen, no? Okay, we keep on load also increasing, displacement also increasing. So at a particular instant, either it can be load approach or it can be a displacement approach. What is the energy? That is what, because both should have consistent, no? Because it should not variation, no? So let us see. Okay, so what is that basically? As the crack advances, Okay, no extra here in this particular case, again they have calculated. Okay, this is A plus delta A. So what is the this one strain energy in this case? Okay, what is the strain energy in this case? This one, isn't it now? Half into, okay, half into V1 into V1, isn't it now? Okay, crack length A of crack length A, okay, this one. On the other case, the next case, okay, strain energy A plus delta A. What is that? This area. This area. Half into V1 into P2. V1 into P2. Now I can find the, so this, okay, I have this and this. So what is the difference? Okay, what is the difference? What is the difference? What is the strain energy? So same way, okay, okay, same way. Of this one minus this one, half into V1 into P1. So of V1 P2 minus P1. So P2 minus P1 is delta P. Delta P. So half into V1 into dP. That is the incremental strain energy when here strain energy is decreasing, because here strain energy is decreasing because that minus this. That minus this. That means P1 minus P2. So here energy is decreasing. In the earlier case, energy is increasing. Because, isn't it now? Suppose here, in the previous case, no? In the previous case, it's a positive. Why? Because once you can, because what we have taken previously, isn't it now? Previously, previous case, okay, this minus this, isn't it now? This minus this. So what happened here? Always second item minus this item, it gave us positive. Gave us positive, isn't it now? That is half into P1 into P2 minus half into P1 into V1. So half into P1, V2 minus V1, it's a positive. On the other hand, if I look here, it is down here. So half into, okay, V1 into, okay, this fellow for A plus A, this is, okay, this is P2 and minus half into V1 into P1. So P2 minus P1 is a negative term. It is negative. That is what strain energy is decreasing. Strain energy is, because this is more, no? This is less, you can see here. Okay. So initially it is more, second it is less. Here you can see second more, first less. So that is what this we can take it as positive energy increasing. Here it is negative. Understood? Same experimental setup only. When you go through a constant load, you will get positive strain energy. When you look the constant displacement, negative strain energy. Agreeing with me?
Yes, sir.
Because the
Yes.
diagram says like this, no?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Because this is bigger fellow. Initial fellow is bigger. Final fellow is smaller.
Smaller.
See here, negative. Here decrement. Okay, energy is decreasing. Okay. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Same setup, same experiment, same set of data, same plot. Okay, how you're going actually, that is important. Okay, the plot is like this only. You go, this is constant load. You go, constant displacement. In this case, energy is decreasing. In this case, energy is increasing. That is the study says. And in this case, no external work done. Why? Because there is no dV. Because what is potential energy? P into dV. dV is here 0 because 0. V2 minus V1 is 0. It's only one this thing only. There is no incremental thing. That is what it is 0. So external work done, in this case 0. Strain energy is there. Okay. So in this observation, what we can say is, okay, you can see here, okay. So this is the triangle, no? This is the one which we are finding, okay? This is the energy basically, that minus this. So in the limit, when delta P tends to 0 or delta V tends to 0, isn't it, no? That means when you go for incremental kind of things, no? Okay, we have to look for smaller thing only, because when you talk about, that is what we are saying, no? Incremental means it should be very small increment, okay? Have you seen, no, stress? Delta A tends to 0, isn't it, no? Stress sigma, what is that? Okay, delta P by delta A. Delta A tends to 0. Okay, that means such a small area. So increment also small increment only. It cannot be huge. So that is what delta P tends to 0 or delta V tends to 0. Okay, such a small, because you cannot go bigger, small, whether the constant load or constant displacement, the quantum of energy available for crack extension is the same. The energy is same. Energy, okay, this energy should be same. This, okay, dV tends to close from very small, half into P1 or half into V1. This energy are all same. Okay. In the first case, strain energy increases. In the second case, strain energy decreases. Okay, this is what all it is. A1 to A2 crack. A1 to A2. This is load displacement curve. Okay, so if case is going, okay, like this. Increasing, decreasing, increasing, decreasing, increasing, decreasing. So this is how the plot P versus displacement, the energy is like this. One case it is increasing, another case it is, because both are happening in any crack, both are happening. So in practice, any general load displacement behavior can be thought of as discrete steps of constant load displacement. Okay, discrete steps of constant load and displacement. Okay. So this is the one important discussion in the fracture mechanics on the energy, either energy front. Okay, how the energy is increasing, how the energy is decreasing for the same case. So here actually we have estimated the amount of energy required to produce the delta A. But two scenarios. One is increment in constant load, another one is constant displacement. So when the crack is further and further it is proceeding, okay, certain time, okay, this energy, the strain energy is, the increasing. At the same time, it is decreasing, increasing, decreasing, increasing, decreasing. Okay, this is the scenario. It will happen when the crack is growing further and further. So these are all the discussions or topics we have to keep today. Okay, that is the thing. Can we stop now?
Okay, sir.
Any doubt?
No, sir.
So now we have almost 10-15 classes we have come, and your exam schedule and all came. You know that?
Yes, sir.
When is your examination? September. Huh?
September starts from September 7th. Sir.
Yeah. So already you have submitted one assignment, isn't it? No, I have asked you to collect some information about the Tejas aircraft and all.
Yes.
Am I correct?
Yes, sir.
All of
Yes,
you
sir.
submitted that report.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Then you are within 1 or 2 days, I will give you second assignment. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Okay, sir.
Okay, sir.
Right. That's all. So 3 o'clock, I will meet the project student. You can arrange the project